Hello, welcome to Walpole United WFC. Hello and welcome to Walpole United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Got Natalie, Ben and Emma joining us tonight. Natalie, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for tonight.
Got lots to discuss. We've been waiting for this topic for quite a while, and I think we've got a few answers already, but there's still one answer still to come regarding our vice-captain, so we'll get into that at some point as well. Ben, how's your weekend going, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate, not bad. Bit of a long one, as you know, but not too bad.
Go on, tell everyone what your plans are. So where you've been in the last 2 or 3 days, where you plan on going to, because I know you've got a busy few days.
Well, yesterday, obviously, people know I was at Southampton away yesterday for the men. Great atmosphere. Not so good football, really. It wasn't the best football match you've ever seen in your life, but it is what it is. Lincoln City tomorrow for the under-21s in the Papa John's Trophy or the EFL Trophy, whichever one that you prefer. And then Saturday, I'm at the under-23s. It's the Manchester Derby at Leeds Sports Village in the Premier League 2, the under-23 league, whatever you want to call it. And then Sunday at Wolves away. So a busy week.
Excellent, Ben. That's what I love about you, and just I kind of look up to you. I've been to quite a few under-23s, obviously not since lockdown, but this is what I like. Men's team, women's team, under-23s. Obviously the devs this season come in and watching some of our players are out on loan. This to me, I'd much rather watch any of these teams than watch Champions League final, PSG against Barcelona, who I've got no loyalty to. I don't watch these games. I watch Man United, all ages, all genders, and this is what it's all about. Emma, welcome to the show for the very first time. How are you?
Hi, nice to have you.
Brilliant. We've got Dennis in the comments as well, who looks like I met Emma and Dennis at the same time in Scotland. Emma, just a little bit about yourself before we actually start talking about Tobin Heath. I'll get the comments ready in the comments. Emma, just a bit about your background regarding Man United, women's football, all that kind of stuff.
Played football from a very young age. Retired early due to I'm a chef by trade, so chef life, the knees, not as fit as I used to be. But I've followed the women's game for years. Been to FA Cup finals when they were back in the day, when they only showed it when Arsenal were playing. Followed a lot of the other leagues around the world. NWSL, W League, when I used to live in Australia, all over really. And I just not prefer the women's game, but I've got more into the women's game because one, obviously you can't really compare the two, but I like the physicality of the women's game where you get up and carry on and play football. Whereas I think some of the men's game at the moment is getting a bit more entertainment, WWF based rather than the actual game.
Yeah, absolutely. So what did you think when United obviously started? Did you have like a bit of a fondness for Man United men's team, or?
So my uncle used to play football. He's in his 70s now, but he used to be good friends with Eddie Coleman, one of the Busby Babes. So he was in with all friends with all them lot. Unfortunately, when Eddie was in Munich, after he passed away, Eddie's father gave my uncle his medals. So we've always had a strong connection to United, and obviously me and my uncle go to the graves every year and pay our respects. But United's always been in our family. There's only one way down the East Lancs, and it's always left.
Fantastic to have you on the show. Thank you very much, Emma. Just before we talk about anything else, obviously you was on the trip with us to Scotland. Just what were your thoughts on the first game back, the atmosphere that we kind of created? Obviously your thoughts about going to LSV, just fans being back in the ground.
Loved it. Didn't expect anything less. Obviously, not in full voice as we always expect and love. And it was good to be, like everybody, it was good to be back. It was good to see the players. It was good to see live football, like close up. And just good to be back to normal. Again, love meeting all the new guys and making new friends and things like that, which obviously the Bami Army are great at doing. And just being back. Just being back.
Yeah, 100%. Karen in the comments, Nat at the match legends. There we go. And there's a few videos still to be uploaded. Your volume was there all the time, Nat, and it was heard on MUTV as well. So yeah, great stuff. Now let's come to you then regarding some breaking news from today, something that came out in the Equaliser. I'll leave it to you, Nat.
Yeah, so just as we were about to log on to this stream, I think it just came out pretty much, about half hour ago, maybe an hour ago. Kristen Press has joined Angel City, and Emma knows about NWSL, like she says. So she's going to join Angel City. She wants to play in LA. It's something I think that she's always wanted to do. She even talked, I've always wanted to do it. Now I can play in front of my friends and family. Fantastic. That's great. But Jeff Kazoon, I'm sorry if I said his name right, in the Equaliser, has said that Tobin has offers from European clubs, English clubs, and the plan is that she might stay in England. And then obviously that's rallied everyone up, because for me, I think United is, I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? I think it's really hard. I think, she's a folk hero, legend, the things that she was saying, the way that she just dragged us through. If she got injured, we sort of say, a lot of us say, we probably would have been in the Champions League, might have won a league. That's how big of an impact. I always said on this channel, she's like our Bruno, and that's what she is. And the way that he sort of galvanized the team, the men's team, she did it for the women's team. She, for me, she was a big part why we were sitting top. And, Karen saying there, she never posted a goodbye. United said she left. Were they waiting for someone to come in and the manager to make a decision? Now he's in, and then she's still pushing. Who knows? I mean, God, if she could play in front of our fans, I think she knew how much. I think Honor, that's a person who everyone loved, and I think you could tell by when everyone saw her, and it was all this and all that. Even like Manny and the way she was like celebrating with us like that, you could just tell like the passion that is in our fan base and that they would receive, that they have received. So for me, and a lot of people then put it back to, this and that and Carrington, but they're putting money in Carrington. It's been said they're going to do it. They're doing it up. It might not have been done now, planning permission, all these kind of things along, but it's not like they're not doing it. It's not like they're sitting there thinking, no, we don't want to, or, they're fighting and this and that. They are doing it. It's taking a bit longer than what we'd hope. And I'd be devastated if she went somewhere else. But if she went somewhere else, it is what it is. Well, I've heard different things. I've heard she was definitely staying in America. Now this is just flipped on its head. So who knows?
Well, let's break it down for not necessarily the positives, but the likeliness. So, 7 players have left, only 5 have come in so far. We haven't been linked with many other players in the last couple of weeks, especially with proper substance. Obviously, we know that she's a United fan, so the likeliness of her going to maybe a City is probably a bit more unlikely. City have brought a lot of players already in, so will they need a Tobin Heath? I was trying to think of possibilities why United still may actually be genuinely in for her. Do you want to
I think the whole thing with Tobin leaving, I don't think it was in her control. The US women's national team have a lot of clout in terms of medical stuff, so I think as soon as she got injured, they were like, right, she's ours now. And with Casey leaving, she was just like, fair enough, whatever. And I think that's why it was just we'll hush it under the carpet and see what happens. But I don't know. Obviously, I wanted to come back. But if she is coming back, it could be either us or Arsenal, because she has posted in the past in Arsenal shirts and things like that. And as you said, City, I don't think need her. They've got Chloe Kelly when she comes back from injury. They've bought Hayley Rasso. Yeah. They've got Jess Park, although I think she might be on the other side. They have that covered. Obviously, they need defenders, but that's another issue. But yeah, so we could. We'll see. We'll see what Mark can do.
The only one who I could see, and then I don't think they will definitely, but I mean, you might know a bit more, Emma, because Sam Kerr seems to be set up shop in USA. It doesn't look like she's coming back anytime soon. I mean, yeah, she's under a year contract, so something's going to have to get worked out there. But Chelsea, they've if Sam Kerr goes, yeah, they've still got Harder. LJ's not. I'm not really seen a picture of her since she joined.
I think with Sam, it's a bit more hype. Like Christie's gone back to, if it's the whole Christie situation, Christie's gone back to training now. She's gone back to normal life. I think there's a few others that I don't think have gone back to training yet. I know Harder's gone back to training, and I know Ericsson's gone back. Maybe they're giving her extra time. We've not, obviously, I'll not touch on it, but the Jackie Bowling issue, Jackie's not back yet. That doesn't necessarily mean anything either. But she has only got 1 year. Will she go back to America? I don't know, because the league's changing there. Like with the whole expansions and stuff, it's changing. It's not as it was. There's a lot of drama that's gone on with Angel City this week because they poached one of the league's managers who's still working with the team until the end of the season, which is a bit bad juju, really. You don't do that. So there's a lot of like negativity around that league, and basically she's already completed it. So if she wants to be one of the best, then she's going to have to go to another team, like either Europe or like Barcelona or something like that. But I don't think she will.
With Chelsea, have they signed anybody else apart from LJ? Because if they haven't, I don't say that they need anybody, but
I think they have, but I can't think who.
I don't think it's anyone. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it's anyone with maybe anything major. So maybe this could be like one of their signings that they could make this season. I'm just saying it's more like, in my opinion, it might be more likely it's going to be Chelsea more than City. Arsenal, have they brought anyone in? I don't know.
Well, Arsenal have brought in Paris, and they brought in that Manum, and she's on the wing. So it's what it.
We still need a winger. Maybe that's why we haven't been linked with anyone. Anyway.
I mean, Stuart, I know he's always pestering, but he says it's been quiet. It's been quiet, and they need players. So, yeah. And how you, John?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Please hit the thumbs up. We are finalists in the FCAs as well, so we'll mention this at the show and over the next week or so on Twitter. It's great to see that we're actually up there. Ben describes it like with the big boys, and it's true because there's so many podcasts out there that we watch and that we listen to and gain knowledge, but I think it's very nice to be recognised in the same category at least and the same kind of group, because there's also podcasts out there that haven't been nominated that we listen to, so it's not like they just nominated anyone. There's a few out there that we enjoy listening to that haven't been nominated, so thank you to everybody who has nominated, especially on Twitter. If you go onto the hashtag about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you click on the hashtag, whatever you had to do.
Best in women's football.
Yeah, we had the most by far on Twitter, so thank you very much for that. We're going to move on then, Ben. So obviously today's show is all about our leaders' 21-22 season. So that includes the management, so the managers. You can talk about the assistant manager and anyone else that Skinner's brought in with him, but also our captain and our vice-captain, which I believe is still vacant. We haven't really heard too much about that just yet. Obviously, Amy Turner was last season. So we'll start off with Mark Skinner, Ben. So obviously, first impressions is good when it comes to likability. He seems to have been winning quite a few fans over who didn't really know him too much in the past. I know Matt, who's usually on the show, he was already won over. I think he was a massive fan when it was first announced from his time back in Birmingham. I guess, Ben, just what are your initial thoughts now?
I think the guy's done pretty spot on since he's come in. He's said the right things, he's done the right things. He seems to get the club, which is the biggest thing when you always when a manager always gets linked to the Man United job, a vacant United job. You always think, is this manager going to be big enough? Is this manager going to be able to take on the history of Manchester United on his shoulders or her shoulders and take it forward and move it forward and get what we're all about? Because there's some managers out there that won't care about histories of football clubs. They won't care about how United play. They won't care about how Manchester United fans expect to be entertained. They'll come in and do whatever they want to do. Jose Mourinho being possibly a prime example. I love Jose. I thought at the time he was the right man, for the job. But he brings a circus around him. It's all about him, never about the club. We saw it the way he dug out players, publicly. That's something we've never done at Man United. We've never dug out our players publicly. Ferguson always kept it in-house. Busby always kept it in-house. We never went publicly and all that stuff with Luke Shaw. He basically destroyed Luke Shaw in a way, Jose Mourinho. And then he made Paul Pogba look the bad guy. Where you look back now and you think maybe Pogba was the good guy, and Jose was the bad guy, because he maybe didn't like what Pogba did or whatever, But looking at Mark, as soon as he's come in, he's been like a breath of fresh air in a way, He seems to bring fresh ideas. I didn't expect him to come across and say what he said right at the end of the game as well. I just thought he might just wave, give us a little clap and make his way along the touchline and whatever. But to take his mask off, to stop there, and speak to us, that meant the world to me, I don't know what anybody else, but people might say, oh, what do you mean it meant the world to you, Ben? It doesn't make no sense. He just came over and said thank you. But he didn't have to do that, he could have just been, clap, wave, and then just walk down the touchline, like most managers would do, but it's that engagement, that thank you for coming, and we need, and just saying we need your support, if you're behind us, we've got every single chance to see us doing well. He didn't have to say that. And that makes me buy into his philosophy already. I don't know the guy, I've never spoken to him before. I know a couple of others spoke to him briefly a little bit afterwards when they went further along across into the main stand, but that's already got me buying into his philosophy. I don't know too much about the guy. I know Matt knows a lot more about him than I do, and Emma will probably know a lot more about him than I would as well, because they've been watching women's football for a lot longer than I have. But he just comes across a really nice guy. Somebody, and in his interviews, he comes across as a guy that has bought into the philosophy of the football club. He knows what Manchester United's all about. He knows he has to play a certain way to please fans and to get fans on the edge of the seat, to get them and get people through the turnstiles. People always say, "What's the United way of playing?" People always say, "Oh, what is this United way of playing?" We don't understand it. Of course, football's evolved and it's changed over the years, but all it is for me is the basic way I describe it is playing football the way that gets everybody off their seats excited, attacking football, get down the wings. And there's no wonder why people like Kirsty Hansen, players like Kirsty Hansen, are thriving this pre-season so far. Because he is more wing-based football. He is, let's get the full-backs down the line, let's get them bombing down the line, let's get them into attacking positions, into the attacking third, let's create overloads, let's create gaps and spaces across the field. And I think it was on my show, if I can remember correctly, people like Casey Stoney's to backwards, sideways a lot of the time. And I went, the more you think about it, it's more like the Louis van Gaal type of football where it's backwards, sideways, keep possession. But I think that so far, the early signs of this guy gets Manchester United, gets the way we want to play, gets the way the fans want to see Manchester United play. Yes, of course, you're not going to see United play that every game. There's going to be times in games, especially against the likes of Chelsea's, the likes of City's, where he's going to have to switch it up and go tactically a bit different, and maybe look to go tighter in games and look to shut up shop if we get a goal or two in front. But on the whole, he looks like he gets it. I like the guy. At first you like people. Obviously, I call people out a little bit. I went on a bit of a rant. That time when where's all this negativity coming from? Let's give the guy a chance. And have you noticed that negativity is now gone? I think people have started to buy into his flow. Just give the guy a chance to see what he's all about. Just because he didn't work at Orlando Pride doesn't mean he won't work at Manchester United. Let's be fair, Jose Mourinho, it didn't work at Man United for him, didn't work at Tottenham for him, it may work at Roma for him. Jose Mourinho was a master at Chelsea, was a master at Porto. Some clubs suit managers better than other teams. So And the way Skinner wants to play, I think, the way that I've read about how he wants to play football, I think it suits him being at Manchester United, because that's the way the fans expect to be entertained. The fans expect Manchester United to play football. And listen, he seems a really decent guy. I just couldn't get over that. The fact right at the end, I keep coming back to it, right then he came across, took his mask off and thanked us. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa.
He also, he also, like you said, he also came when we were waiting to go home. We sort of chatted to him. Were you there? You were there, Emma, and we said a little few things. I don't want to dub him in or nothing, because he didn't say anything bad.
Telling me to sign.
Yeah, just basically having a bit of banter with the fans and listening to us, and this is what we want to do, boss, and this is what this. And it wasn't a case of, I'm the manager, you just have to sort of, you're the fan, I'm the manager, I know what I'm doing, you don't, which, we don't. But he was like, is that what you think? Oh, this and that, and telling us little things. And, not that we're sitting there demanding he does this, demanding he does that. We're just saying, listen, we want to see a bit more, see a few strikers, see maybe a bit more youth players. But I think definitely, go on.
What I noticed, and this is a difference between Casey and Mark. Casey always talked about building. Now, when we were talking to Mark about signings and whatever, he said he's building a legacy, which obviously means he's here for the long term, whereas Casey was just like, I'll get the building blocks and then we'll see where we go. Whereas Mark knows that he wants to be here for a long time, which made a massive difference. For me personally, I followed him for a very long time. I followed him at Birmingham and I followed him when he went to Orlando Pride. I think he got a bit of a bad rap at Orlando Pride. I don't think the league suits him, but I also think it was the wrong team, because as other people that follow the league may know, a lot of the players for Orlando are either US national team members or like Marta, that just as a brand in herself. And I think that team is basically, we are like those players wise, we are in charge. I've noticed in a lot of games, Ali Krieger only passes the ball to Marta and Sid, her friends, and only things like that. And if you can't play as a team, or he can't get his way across, then it's not going to work. Like he always said in his first season, I'm trying to get something going, and he just never did. And then obviously COVID and he got stuck. So I think United came at the right time. Also, when I was in Australia, Bass was playing for a team in Australia, and I went to get a picture with her after the game. And Mark was in Australia, and he was going over to Laura, and I just like cut in as you do. And he was like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, you take your time." Da, da, da. And knew that my connection with her as a fan was more important than him just having a word with his wife. And I think that says a lot about him, more than the stats that he got when he was in the other team.
I mean, I remember when he signed, I was 50-50. I think me and you were, John, weren't we? I was 50-50. Yeah. I'm probably a bit 60-40 now. I'm not, just because he's come over and he's saying, I'm like, let's see it in action. And I think, though, it was better football in a way. I know it's just Rangers. I'm not trying to say, but it was like the build-up play to some of the goals. And like I said, it's only Rangers. So it's not, and that's no disrespect to Rangers as well. Got a lot of good friends there. We met lots of great people. Lizzie. Yeah, and Lizzie and Jane. But, you expect to beat Rangers. Chelsea went out there and beat Rangers. We beat them by one more goal, so that's what.
And didn't concede.
Yeah, and didn't concede, so that's good signs. But like pre-season means nothing. I've sat with people and said pre-season means nothing. Yeah, of course it means nothing.
They just looked like they wanted to play football more. Like with Casey, I think it was just like, well, we're doing it this way, crack on. Whereas Mark, like he said, he wants them to be on the pitch, to be able to adapt to what's going on and be confident in what they're doing, so they can adapt on. So he didn't have to scream at them. Whereas it was the other way around, I think, with Casey. So if they get more confident, and obviously we're scoring goals, that will only breed more confidence.
I think I want to see it happen in a WSL. I want to see it happen in a WSL. Like, so we can say all this, and it was great at pre-season, but let's Reading, bang, make it happen.
I was going to say I think Reading being the first game is a good one, because it's killing demons from last season, and it's technically an easier team than having, say, Arsenal, Chelsea, or whatever.
So it's a team, it's a bogey side, though, Reading.
It is our bogey side.
Always
and the thing is, with Reading and even a bit West Ham, and I think this is the thing with Mark now, he's a bit more flexible. Casey, you knew the way she was going to play. I think even Matt Baird said, I know the way they were going to play. And I think it was in our COVID year, and we went down to, God, I can't remember what the West Ham Stadium used to be called. We went down there and they beat us 3-2 because they knew this is how they're going to play. They're going to do it like this. So if you just do these things, this is where they're weak.
But the thing is with that, the only person that beat us that day, we've now signed. And also Reading, their main players have left. Haz has gone, obviously, to North Carolina. Jess Fishlock's left. About 6 other people have left. They've not even brought that many people in. So we've got a better chance this time. Not that we didn't have last time.
Yeah. But I just think with his marks, flexibility, I mean, the one thing that really impressed me is when he says, and I think it was in the build-up to the Rangers game, going to look at other people's weaknesses. And I think that's what we never really did. We always sort of had, we're Man United, this is how we play, boom, that's it. Yeah. And I like that kind of, swag, Fergie, boom. But you do have to adapt. We're not the Man United in the 90s. We're Man United women 3 years in, and we will get, towards the end of last season, we did get our backsides handed to us a couple of times, you know what I mean? Against City, against Arsenal, if anything. I mean, even against Brighton a bit. So if we looked at Brighton's weaknesses and then played to that, maybe we would have won a game. But I think it's just we come in, this is how we're playing, that's it. Whereas I feel like this guy's going to be more open. There's times when he's playing 3 at the back and times when Honor was so furthest forward. Things like that is what I love to see. And I just want to leave one little shout out to the one player who I thought when she's got loads of confidence in her, she's going to bomb it, because Hannah Blundell, when she's running down that wing, up and down, and I feel like at the start she was a bit nervous. Maybe she was told to sit. I was like, drive, go forward. And I'm excited to see her.
I think I'm a bit more confident in our defence than last season. Obviously, I love Amy. However, she was that older player. She hasn't got the pace. She can just put a good tackle in. That's what I was more confident about. And also I was quite surprised about Sophie Bagley. She commanded that pitch a lot more than Mary did, and her distribution was a lot better than Mary is. So that's good that they'll have that competition this season, because they'll push each other. So hopefully, obviously, competition breeds success, hopefully.
I was going to jump in a few comments and then obviously we'll carry the conversation on. So Paul's asking, did Mark organise the camp? I'm pretty sure that he said he wanted to go to Scotland to bring the players closer together and get to know them as people instead of players. So I'm pretty sure that Mark probably did organise it, or at least come up with some sort of.
Probably, I think it was sort of organised before there was talks about it. He probably had to sign off on it. Does he want to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was going on for a while. I just wanted to Scotland because we kind of heard that, but then it kind of went quiet a bit, which is a shame, because if we know a bit more in advance, maybe more people could have planned time off work and something could have happened. But yeah, we'll talk about Zelem shortly. But yeah, I just want to bring Ben in and just kind of just hear what your thoughts are with what you're hearing now. Because to me, it seems very, very positive that like everything that he's saying is kind of coming true, and it's just all about him actually getting the results now in the WSL.
Yeah, just I agree with what Nat said. The proof's going to be in the pudding. He needs to do well in the WSL this season. He needs to do well in cup competitions again. Apart from last season, under Casey Stoney, we did very well in the cup competitions. We just need that extra little push to get that step further into a final. Listen, if you get us into a final this season, either cup competition, I don't mind which one it is, FA Cup or Conti Cup. I think we deserve that. I don't know why. People say, "Oh, in football you don't deserve anything. You've got to do it. You've got to do it to deserve it." But I don't know. As a fan base, I think we deserve a good cup final. I don't know why. I'm probably just been a bit greedy. Maybe I'm been a bit.
I'm still pissed about that. One point behind because of a Katie McCabe penalty which she dived for. That's why we deserve a cup final.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a horrible time with COVID and not being able to go to games. So, first season back, if we get to a cup final of some sorts, whether it be the Conti or the FA Cup, wouldn't that be amazing? I just think that, hopefully you can hit the WSL run. Emma said that the Reading are not the team they used to be, but I'm sure that they'll still make it pretty difficult for us in the opening game of the season. We are the opening match of the season in front of Sky Sports cameras. They don't want to get humiliated. and we're going to get out there, go out there and play our football. Make sure we don't play their football, play our football. Which sometimes it's Reading. We seem to, I don't know, we seem to be a bit, tentative a little bit. We sort of get sucked into playing their football instead of playing our football.
Fall into their traps.
Yeah, exactly. If we could play our football the way that Mark Scott has played over pre-season, and we could bring that into the Reading game, we can look positively into that game and get a good win. Just lay to bed the bogey side. Let's lay that to bed. Let's get a good win against them and get a good start into the season. And I reckon they'll be flying. There's going to be some tough tests this season. There's no doubt about that. Especially when we come up against the likes of Chelsea's, your Arsenal's, your Manchester City's. Even Arsenal ain't as good as they used to be. They're looking a bit wobbly, but it's still massive. It's going to be a massive question mark over Mark Skinner. How are you going to do against these teams? Casey, until last season, very, very lost by a single goal against his bigger side. I know we get City away from home. We got a little bit of a cut up. We got a little bit embarrassed, shall we say? At the mini council house, but that's the only real time that we've been. I know Chelsea has got a couple of goals against us last season as well. Defensive errors again. But we've rarely been outplayed against these so-called, especially against Chelsea. Very rarely been outplayed, really. It's now about taking us to the next level. Can we compete with them? Can we go a goal up against them and then get a second goal and then look to try and defend the lead out? I'm with Emma. I'm liking the look of our defence, but I still think we need another addition in there because, especially around the centre half area, if we pick up a couple of knocks like we did last season again, we'll look frail and bare there again. But then again, that could be then an opportunity for a dev to maybe come in, and I like that from Mark Skinner as well. The way he's talking about progression of youth players, the devs, the under 21s, for example, whatever you want to call them. I'm liking the way that he's talking about them a lot more. Whereas Casey, you very rarely heard about bringing it in. You should probably mention him maybe on the odd occasion, but every time I've heard Skinner talk, he's always saying, "I'm looking to progress the next lot now." The next stage, the under 21s, who can I bring in? When can I bring them in? When is the right time? Who's ready? Who's not ready yet?
He did that a lot at Birmingham, and that's what I liked. Well, obviously at Birmingham, he didn't have the money that he potentially could have at United, but still, that's what I like.
Exactly. I know that's exactly what Nat will like. Nat goes watch the Devs more than any of us. She knows who's up and coming. She knows who's supposed to be the next big star. I mean,
don't worry, Ben. I dropped a few names on Skinner.
I'm sure she did. She did.
Who he should be calling up next. Don't worry.
So we talk a lot about his man management and all his strengths as caring about the player as opposed to the person more than the player. Think about why did we bring Skinner in? Was it just to kind of calm the players down because he's got the type of personality that our players can maybe trust? Maybe he was brought in not just because of his results at Orlando or Birmingham, but maybe he was the type of person who could probably get the best out of the players that we've got. One of the first players that you got to look at is your captain, Katie Zelem. So obviously now he's come in the pre-season games. Katie's started most of them, if not all. She had a cracking game against Rangers. And that's how to start off with yourself. What do you think the initial conversation was, maybe between Skinner and his captain, Katie Zelem? Because I know it's a tough one, but no doubt he's got to speak to his captain first. Go on.
I'm guessing he probably was like, I don't know if he would have talked about what happened before, but just said, this is where I want to play. This is what we want to do. Obviously you're the captain. You've got the ears of a lot of players. What's the kind of feelings like in the camp, what you all thinking, and I'm sure she sort of said, this probably didn't go right and this that happened here. I think he's saying Dennis is saying Manny in for vice captain. That would be good. Mm-hmm. Jackie, I think, needs to sign a contract before I can talk about captain.
Maurice has not been there long enough.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all for someone who is probably suited. And I think Manny, and the way she stood with that thing, I think she's suited. I think she is like a captain kind of material. But then I am a person who's very big on the longevity, like how long have you been there? That should determine. But I do really rate Mannion. I think, you know, she's the kind of person who would slot straight into leadership group, vice or whatever. I think Nam's put it down there. Ladinator, Lucy Stan. Yeah, these are all people, and these are girls that I've worked with him before. I know Stanley sort of had a little comment saying, I was in and around when he was there. I wasn't very main, but everyone loved him. Everyone spoke highly of him. For me, I don't know. I think there's a lot of leaders there. I think there's a lot of young players. I think there's more like the young players are now turning into the experienced players, really. If you look at it, like Hansen stepping up. I'd say Hansen now is an experienced player. I think you should say Tooney then. Tooney stepping up. Millie Turner, big season for her. Big season because I think, like what Emma said, Amy was that experienced one, you know? And it was Turner, but it is Amy who's the one that you would look at to be thinking, well, Millie's been here for a long time, been here from the start. Bam, your experience. You want to, you know, look at Tooney and Millie, and Zelly even. They probably all want to play for England, fair play. But you need to be showing it week in, week out before you can even be thinking about England. Your priority shouldn't be, I know this is something I say a lot, but it should be, you know, Man United and putting in big performances. And I think Zelly did it versus, it was a good performance from her. I think as well, she was a bit further forward. And that's what I've always said from championship days. Play Zelly forward. I don't think she's good as like a holding, you know? I'd rather have Zelly further up the pitch. And then when you have her further up the pitch, you see that goal. You know, that's what you're going to get from Zelly. And I think, yes, she can spray balls and it's fantastic. And that's probably why Casey played her a bit deeper. But for me, I think further up the pitch is where I want to see her. I think she's a bit wasted. Even Jackie, I think she's probably a bit wasted further back. I mean, I don't know. John will know better. But Stanley and Ladinator maybe further back. Risa further back. And then let them girls go forward. Take the shots. I know that Jackie can take a shot. I know that Katie can take a shot. And Katie's showing it in a fabulous goal. So, I don't know. But I think Mark's going to be more, like I said, flexible. You play there. You do this. What's the benefit? What do I need when I'm playing a team like Reading or this and that? Oh, I needed to play like this and that. Whereas Casey, it was these are my three. That was it.
I want to hear what Emma says in a couple of seconds regarding the captaincy and Katie Zelem. But just sticking with yourself for a second, Nat. I think I just wanted to kind of just jump on what you said because I think we spoke about it before. Hayley Ladd might be the best CDM that we've got, but there will be games where we might not need that kind of role potentially. And then there's no harm in Jackie and Katie maybe playing together, but like they can kind of alternate. They don't necessarily both need to stick in that role. You know, they can alternate. You know, as a player, if you're a midfielder, you should be able to kind of decide, okay, who's going to sit, who's going to go forward. Back in the old days, like
that's what you used to do, yeah.
Keenan Scholes, when it was just used to be like two midfielders, you know, they never kind of had to say, we can't play together. You just kind of just talk on the pitch, don't you? And surely you can do that now.
Well, like you said, you don't need a CDM all the time. You don't need a double pivot all the time. And, you know, maybe one day Ladinator might not play and you'll have Stanley or you'll have Risa or Stanley and then you'll have, like you said, Katie and Jackie just bombing forward. It's games like Birmingham, and no disrespect for these teams, Birmingham, and maybe when we're playing the Conti, but even then I think you're going to bring in a lot of youth players probably when we're playing the Conti. But Birmingham, West Ham, Villa, I think if you just go at these teams, you know, no fear, go at them, run at them, have your wingers running, have the balls, the way they were playing the balls versus Rangers. Yes, it is Rangers, but the way they were moving it from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and it was doing moving it through the middle. And then that's what led to, like I said, that goal, the way she took it. It was on her running down the left, I think, and then playing it into Tooney, then playing it back out, then playing it in. And, you know, I saw someone say something about, it was boring. And I'm not saying it wasn't boring football. It was just the way they built up. And, you know, I don't know if Benny's read this, but Mark said he likes to play, he mirrors his game on a bit like Pep Guardiola. And that's what, I'm not saying it was Pep Guardiola. Listen, everyone will pin me and say I'm saying this. No, but it was the way he was moving it, the way they could move the ball left to right across the pitch quickly. It was good, and then the way they started off slow at the back and then built up the pace as they moved forward up the field. You know, it was great football, and like you say, I agree. You don't need to play Ladinator and all these people all the time. You know, teams like Villa and Birmingham, we should just be going out there, bang, 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 get all the attacking players on the pitch you can, and get all the goals and take shots from outside the box. Go for it.
Go on, Emma. What are your thoughts on Katie Zelem, the player, competition for places, and as a captain?
I'm on the fence. I've got a question. If Katie Zelem couldn't score free kicks, would she still be in that team?
Yeah, because she could score from outside the box.
After last season's performance, because John just posted box-to-box mixed viola. After she had COVID, and this is obviously an unfortunate thing, she could not run at all. She had nothing. And that's what made her look bar average and couldn't really put a pass together because she couldn't make that interjection between. That's what made her look like an average player. Like I say, I'm on the fence. I've seen her at Liverpool. I've seen her at Juventus. She's peaked and gone down a bit for me, but she's still an important player for the team. Captain, I'm not so sure.
Is that because you don't see her as a leader, or you don't see her starting as many games, or what are your thoughts on that?
Both. I've noticed as well with like when she was shouting on the pitch, she's just like geeing them up. She's not like taking control really. She's just like, oh come on girls, da, 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 da. And instead of being saying like, oh you're not doing that right, be in certain places and orchestrate change, what's the point of having a captain? I don't think she's got enough, not leadership skills, because she is an important person on the pitch, but I think there's better people to do the job.
Do you think Mark can do to kind of give her that confidence to maybe do that? Do you think maybe she's lacking confidence because
like when I saw her at Rangers, she did play a lot better, and obviously like Nat said, she was pinging balls left, right, and centre, and looking back how she was before COVID. So again, it might just be a long COVID symptom. She might just have been knackered. She might be back to her form best and be like one of our top scorers next season, and I'll be laughing on the other side of my face. However, I'm just not the biggest fan. I'm not against her. She should still be in the team. However, she needs to prove herself this season beyond being a captain, just as a player to be in that starting 11, especially with Bo Risa, especially with Jackie, Stanny. Stanny, I think, is going to have a standout season. She had a horrible season last season because she had a lot of family problems and it affected her. And I think that's how she got injured in the first place, because her mind wasn't in it. And as we saw her score at Rangers, when she dropped to her knees, it's because like a family member passed away, and she's got that motivation this season to just hit it and go. And I think she's going to be the one that we need to have in that team this season. Maybe not necessarily the captain, but needs to be there.
I think a lot of people have got points to prove this season. I think not just.
And I think they're ready to, and I think Mark knows that, and I think that's what he's like.
I think Ladd maybe, because I think Ladd, he started off really well and then sort of dipped down as well. I mean, I think we're waiting on Russo to come on and basically we saw him for about 5 games. That's it. So I'm
excited for Russo because I've seen her at UNC as well.
Well, it's like, obviously it's on. I think they've sort of all been told, right, there you go, boom, give it. That's it. It's over. It's
Jockey, I'm old enough for you.
It's now or never. And I think a lot of these players probably know that. And this guy's giving them a chance. So there you go.
What I am interested in seeing is there's a lot of comments in the comments suggesting captains or vice captains, but not all of those are guaranteed starters either. So we've got Ladd in the comments. I agree. I thought maybe even 1 or 2 seasons ago Ladd could have been a captain or a vice captain, but there's no guarantee she's going to start. Seeing Mary in the comments, no guarantee she's going to start.
But does your captain need to start every game? Or is your captain like Ashley Young? He never started every game. Who cares who's captain? For me, it's just a band on your arm. It's about
not only that.
Who does it? Who's leading? I mean, and Dennis said Mannion was doing this. And she's not wearing a band. Who cares? It's a band on your arm, right? And it's about who can, like what Emma said, control it, drive it.
It's not even that. I think Hayley's a bit like Kim Little in the sense she's just quiet and goes about her business. She might not even want to be captain. We keep saying, "Oh, this should be captain." They might not want to be. They can still be a voice on the pitch, like say Ellen White for England, but won't want to take a penalty. But that's another story. But yeah, they still want to make like a contribution. They just don't want to be the captain, and that's fair enough. You can still make a difference and not have the armband on. So we'll see. We'll see what transpires.
That's the thing, because Ben, I'll bring you in on this one. Being a captain, it's not just about the 90 minutes on the pitch, is it? It's about being a captain, you know, throughout the whole week, geeing your players up. And, you know, we don't know what Katie's done in the past to support some of the maybe the younger players or maybe some of the more experienced players who might have been having a hard time or whatever. You know, we only kind of see the 90 minutes. And if you're having a bad season on the field, then maybe the fans might get the wrong idea, thinking, oh, you shouldn't be captain because in this 90 minutes you didn't do very well. Okay, it all comes down to that 90 minutes. I get that, but maybe Katie does things behind the scenes that maybe some fans aren't aware of. But Ben, just kind of what are your thoughts on the situation of, you know, obviously Katie being captain? It looks like she's going to be captain this season anyway. You know, maybe if she doesn't, I agree with Natalie. I don't think you need to play every game to be captain, because if you have a look, some of our best players this season might not play every game anyway. So, just what are your thoughts on the captaincy, Ben?
I said this a long, long time ago. I don't think there's very many leaders in this team. I look back to last season, heads went down too easy. You know, went goal down, heads went down. Even the most experienced players like Amy Turner's, heads went down. Jackie Gronan, heads went down. No leadership there. And we started having a bit of a crisis at the back. We was conceding goals, making mistakes, heads went down. Nobody took control on the field of play. That's including your captain wearing the captain's armband. For me, I'm with Natalie, captain's armband should armband. You need leaders on the pitch. When Roy Keane was Manchester United captain, you had leaders all over the pitch. You go back to when Vidic was captain, you had leaders all over the pitch. You had Rio Ferdinand, you had Patrice Evra, you had Ryan Giggs, you had Wayne Rooney. These are leaders on the field of play, you know. And I think football's moved on now. You're not going to get the bruising leaders of Brian Robson or a Roy Keane type player. Football's moved on now. There's no warriors like that anymore. There's no like proper get into him, tackle with the intent of breaking people's legs. Them players are gone now. They died with Vieira and Keane. They were the last two in football at every level. You've got to look at your captain. Like Natalie said, Ash Young was never. Although he was club captain, he was never on the field most of the time. Same with Antonio Valencia as well. When he was club captain, sometimes he would never be on the pitch. It's about finding who's your strongest leader, who's your strongest voice in that dressing room. And I'm with Emma as well. You can't just go, come on, girls. You know, you need to be showing leadership. You need to be dragging your team by the scruff of the neck when things are not going right. You need to be exemplary on the football field. You know, I always hark back to Roy Keane being United's most successful ever captain. Yes, he had the great players around him, but he was the one man. He was a one-man driving force at times. You think back to Juventus, the Champions League in '99. You know, he already knew he was suspended for the final, but he got his team to the final. He was the one that got that goal back, the first goal back, for us to believe that we could go on to a final in '99. They're the type of leaders. They're the type of people you're looking at leading the football team. You know, I love Katie Zelem, but I don't see it in her. I do not see that leadership. I do not see that drive from her. Come on, you know, Roy Keane was starting his own players, for God's sakes, in the middle of a football field. That time when he started on Phil Neville was the great one.
That's always like relevant.
Standards had to be at the very highest level. You can't dip below them standards at Manchester United. I'm looking at I may be being a bit overcritical, but I'm looking at last season and when things after the winter break went downhill. Look at leaders then, and not one of them put their head up and went, "Come on, we're better than this." You know, not one of them was dragging the team from the depth to the, you know.
I think Katie was like that.
It doesn't matter if we go and lose a football game. We go lose a football game, we lose a football game, we go down fighting. But last season we went down with a whimper, and there's the leadership on the field. It's like, where is it?
But I think Katie knew that she wasn't at like full capacity, so she had no room to say, "Come on," because I'm not pulling a weight. So,
of course,
I also want to know. Right, I know that me and John have spoke about it, but we sort of talked about how Casey maybe she was feeling it, and then everyone else felt it.
That could be good point.
You know, it's like we were talking about management. When your manager starts to be a bit off. You feel it, you feed it. You know, I think she was such an integral part, Casey. When she was happy, they were all happy. If she was upset, to be honest, I think they're all upset. Whereas, like what Emma just said about Mark, I don't know. I'm not saying anything bad about Casey, but he's sort of letting them do it. You know, you take responsibility of your own destiny in a way, right? I'm not going to influence it. You've got to go out there and do it. And, you know, whereas I feel like Casey, it was very, I'm controlling this. I will control our destiny. I don't know. Maybe that's just...
I think very quickly, just on that, when a new manager comes in, it doesn't matter if it's football or anything else, you automatically listen to where the problems are, and then you kind of want to get on everyone's good side and say, right, okay, if this is what you want to do, go with it. You know, you put a bit of trust in them, and then if it doesn't work, then you jump in. Will Mark be like this in a year or two's time? Maybe not. Maybe he will be a bit more like maybe Casey, we presume Casey would be. But you don't know that. But at the moment, you are right. Mark's letting them do what they want, and it seems to be okay at the moment. Everyone seems to be happy. It's the first month, isn't it? So it's still early doors. But sorry, Emma, what was you going to say?
I was going to say, in a lot of Mark's post-match things when he was at Orlando Pride, and I think he's already said it here, he just wants to give them the tools to go and win the match, whether that's making a defensive play, going attacking, or just knowing what they want to do. Whereas, like I say, at Orlando, they just did what they want. So whatever he gave them, they wouldn't have done it anyway. So coming to United, like I say, the players have got a point to prove it. If Mark gives them the tools that they need to succeed, they will go and do it because they want to be the best. And I think, touch wood, that we're going to have one of those seasons where it just clicks. Like we say, we do need a few more signings, but that'll come. But I think he's here for the long haul, whereas Casey, like I say, was talking about starting off and building, whereas Mark's like, we're going. Are you coming with us? And obviously we are, so we'll see how that goes.
I just want to say about Mark looking to get on everyone's good side. The fact that's why he stopped and chatted for us 2 or 3 times. Yeah, he wants to get on the fans' good side as well.
But that's what you're supposed to do. As soon as you lose the fans, you've had it, and we know that, especially at United. If you've not got the fans, you've got nothing.
To be fair, on the leadership thing as well, though, leadership, sometimes you're born with them kind of qualities. But I think Rio Ferdinand said it, though, not so long ago as well, that he thinks that leadership now is not the boisterous people like himself would have been, Vidic would have been, Keane would have been. See, if you look at even Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire's not a really shouty person. You know, he's not one to get in people's faces. But although he's done a really good job since he's been captain of the men's side, so maybe I'm being a bit too harsh on the players. Maybe maybe there's a different type of leadership now as the game is evolving and times are moving on. Maybe there's no longer that need for a shouty captain, a captain that's in your face. You know, I know times have moved on and the world's moved on now, and we accept things differently now. So maybe as a old school fan like myself, maybe I have to accept things differently. Maybe it is now the turn of maybe the quieter captains on the field. But I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking leadership, you've got to show it as well. You've got to want to show it. You've got to want to show it in your performances. It doesn't matter if Katie, I'm not too fussed if Katie's not a shouty person, you know, if Katie doesn't standing there screaming in people's faces. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to upset her teammates, but I'm looking at her sometimes and I'm thinking, where's that extra drive? Where's that extra oomph that comes from a captain of Manchester United? This is probably I can't speak for her, but I'm assuming this is one of her proudest achievements in her footballing career, being captain of a team that she grew up and supported all her life. So, you know, I just want to see that little bit extra. Maybe I'm too old school. I don't know. I mean, Emma and Nat know maybe a bit more about leadership in maybe women's sport than I would do, but because I'm obviously coming from the men's game where it is a bit more, that it has been a bit more, you know, I think Emma described it as WWF style earlier on. It's a bit more WWF these days. It's a lot
WWE, whatever, Undertaker style.
Yeah, but maybe I'm just looking at it from a men's side and maybe not looking at it from maybe other women's games a little bit different. Maybe it's like it's coached differently, it's managed differently, and maybe leadership is a little bit more different, you know, in the women's game. Listen, if Katie's captain for next season, let's all get behind her. Let's hope COVID's behind her as well, and she comes out and she proves us all wrong. And I said that before as well. I said that on, I think it was me and Matt did the show about this a few months ago, and I said I hope she comes around and said, "I told you, gobby idiot, that I could be a captain." That's all I want. And I'll be like, Katie, you proved me wrong. Fucking thank you. You know, that's all I want. You know, just want people to come and say, listen, you didn't think I was good enough for Manchester United. I proved you wrong. You know, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's about your next step. It's about going to prove people wrong. At United, you're always judged from either the fans, the press, the media. You're always harshly scrutinised. And that's because you're playing for the biggest club in the world, you know. And we're not doing it because we're evil. We're not doing it because we don't like people. We're just setting out these questions, you know. And can you answer them questions on the football field? Can you go and be that leader on the football pitch? Can you drive Manchester United to the next level? If you can do those things, I'll hold my hands up and say, Katie, well done. Well done. You proved me absolutely wrong. You know, I've got nothing against Katie Zelem. I love her, man. But I'm thinking as a captain, as a leader, you've got to do just that little bit more. And if you can do that, mate, absolutely perfect.
Can I just jump on a couple of these points? So first of all, Dennis's comments on screen, he says sometimes people aren't responsive.
Yeah, maybe
that's something that Katie is good at. Maybe, you know, in the dressing room or having a bit of a quiet conversation with someone on the pitch or in the training pitch. Maybe that's something that she can be good at. Me personally, you know, in my day-to-day job, I am a manager and I am a bit more quieter. On, you know, when I'm out and about with people, I'm quiet. But my assistant manager, she's like the little Rottweiler, so I have a word to her and say, look, this is what I want. Yeah. Go and deliver that for me. And she's the Rottweiler, so maybe on the pitch, maybe Katie can kind of have an idea of what goes on, and maybe she can have a word to, I don't know, Tommy Heath back in last season or whoever. You know, maybe there's other ways of doing things. You know, maybe if she's not that kind of person that can bark orders, that's not a problem. She might still have a vision of what needs to happen on the pitch, and then maybe she can pass them instructions on. It's ideal that everyone can kind of be a leader. Ben, like what you said, I couldn't agree more. Back in the Roy Keane days, you know, everyone.
I think it's just as my generation, Man United fans, we're always brought up on Robson, Keane, Vidic, Bruce. You know, these are proper leaders. Schmeichel in the goal. Yeah, Schmeichel never used to always have the captain. He's been captain. Yeah, Stam. You know, Rio Ferdinand. People always say, "Oh, Rio was quiet." You're joking. I sit in the scoreboard at East Stand. You can always hear Rio talking and shouting. You know, and I think the comment was spot on. Like that Dennis was saying, some people don't respond to shout. He's probably right, mate. We're now living in a newer generation that you've got to take these thoughts into consideration. And as I said, the women's game is totally different to the men's game. But I probably have to hold my hands up and say maybe I'm being harsh as well, because I come from the men's game. I've seen all these great leaders. I've seen how they are on a football pitch. But you're right. I think some people might even say Alex Ferguson's style wouldn't work in today's modern game, because he would be in people's faces, right, literally inches in front of your face, shouting and screaming at you. You know, but the good thing about Ferguson, he also could do the other side where he knew where players did put the arm around them, you know, talk to them. Listen, we're still a fairly new team. We're still a young side, and hopefully leadership develops in time. But times have changed, as the comment said there. I'm just stuck in the old school times. I do apologise. Ignore me.
Yeah,
I'm a grumpy old man.
You are. We're in the new era, women's football. Well, I don't know if it's different. I think it's the same. I think a lot is the same. Maybe some things are different. I've heard managers say you have to speak differently to the way they speak to women players, etc., etc. So, you know, obviously it's going to be different for them on the park. For me, I think we just need to look at it as like, we are where we are. We go forward. For me, it's like I said about it, it's just a band on your arm. Don't mean nothing. And you should be 11 captains on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, some people are still always going to have an issue and always going to push for Jackie or this one or that one. Cool. You know, everyone's within their right to say it. I just think, let's just go forward. Whoever it is, I don't care. Get us a striker in. Play some devs. Play that football that we saw versus Rangers. And let's go and, like what Emma says, I think a lot of people are sleeping on us in a way. I think people are not expecting us to do things. They're expecting, you know, Everton, this player, Leicester, that. You know, it's fine. We're just going to quietly go about our business, hopefully get in some people, more players. We know where we need them. It's not. I think a lot of people have been saying get in a few more players and bang, just upset a few apple carts.
Guys, we've come to the end of the show. That was one of the best shows that we've done for quite a while. I know the comments were blowing up at the end there. It was really getting involved. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Just before we go, just a bit of, first of all, thank you to Emma. If anybody wants to find you on social media, and we're talking about women's football or Man United, how can they go about doing that?
I think it's Emma_Curl, Kearl.
You think? At least you know.
Yeah, I'm old. I don't check these things. I'm not even on TikTok. Taylor Swift posted something today, and my friend was like, "I have to get TikTok now."
Listen, like Anthony, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Plan for the rest of the week, guys. So we have got the WFC show, Women's Football Chat show tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure if Matt's on, but I'll be on that one with a couple of guests from rival teams. So we'll be discussing their thoughts on their teams going into the new season, which will be very interesting. We've got Emma Sean on from Man City and Pridey from Liverpool. So we'll be discussing a bit about the Championship and a bit about the WSL as well. So that'll be something to look forward to. Natalie, you've got a banging show lined up to go out on Wednesday, haven't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not around to do it live, guys, but please definitely do check it out Wednesday. Me and Rich Laverty, we're going at it. We're talking about the Championship. It's a build-up. We talk about John Hume, I see you there. We talk about Sunderland. We talk about Sheffield. It's one of the most exciting leagues for me now in women's football. So, yes, we're all Man United fans, but definitely go and check out the Championship. We've won it. So it's growing. It's a different kettle of fish now there. And, he's saying about 8 teams could win it. That's how exciting it is down in Tier 2.
That's what happens when you put money in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday show, me and Natalie are back. We've got Stuart back on the show. It's been quite a while since Stuart Barker's been on the show. So he's going to come on and we're going to kind of give our pre-season kind of predictions and kind of what our expectations are going into the new season now. Friday night Fans Forum will be back. Saturday night, Ben and Matt. Have we got a topic or are we going to wait until a bit near the time?
We'll wait, mate. We'll wait as always. We'll always wait till late in the week.
Yeah. Tobin could be back by then. Could be back by then.
Good point.
Exactly.
It's not a striker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, Emma, thank you again for coming on. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. And get your votes in, guys. It's just been released today that we have been nominated as finalists for the FCA. So please have a look at our Twitter and we can show you exactly what you have to do to vote. But we really
You can vote via the website. You can vote via Instagram. You can vote via Twitter. It's all any way you want to vote. And find us on Instagram as well, and we'll show you.
That's it, guys. Thank you very much. And we shall see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys.